Happy Wednesday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Forrest out in St. Louis. Hope you are having a wonderful day. I know I am. Get to hang out with my wife. Every second that I get to chill with my wife is like the best day ever. Came home and had some of the most awesome bacon and some eggs for dinner with a really cool orange juice smoothie that I don't know where it went to, but put some orange juices and frozen strawberries, some blueberries in it. Really, really good. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're going to talk about your perfect client. How do we find a perfect client? How do you know what the perfect client looks like? We're going to go through some steps. I know I promised you this. I don't know what day it was, but here it is. It's Wednesday. I've got this for you. I'm going to go over 4 steps of defining and finding that perfect client. So have you ever wondered, you're sitting in your marketing, you started your business, like, who do I talk to? Where do I find customers? Now, I hear that question all the time, and what that says to me is everybody knows there's people out on the planet, right? You know, like on Facebook, there's 90 billion people on the planet. There's like 7 million people or 7 billion people. So there's people. And I think what is really meant by that question isn't where do I find people? It's where do I find the person that wants to buy my stuff? What do they look like? Where do they live? Where do they hang out? What kind of money do they have? What kind of cars do they drive? What kind of books do they read? What kind of shows do they watch? I think that's more the question, and people don't realize it, but subconsciously they know there's people out there, but their deal is like, okay, how do I narrow it down from just knocking on everybody's door? Because of course, if you're selling something, right? If you've got something for sale, I'm gonna get on my bandwagon. I'm gonna get on my soapbox a little bit here. So one of the things that we talk about in business, you'll hear these guys like, oh yeah, this is network sharing. We don't sell anything. Here's I've got a challenge for you. If you physically don't have a product, but you have a concept, you're selling that concept to somebody to come and align with you to go out and sell the concept to somebody else. You're selling an idea. When you're a man and you're looking for a wife, right? You're looking for that lifelong mate. You do everything to sell yourself. You cut your hair, you groom yourself, stand up straighter, you make your resume look better, you might go to the gym and work out. Clean your house more than you ever would. You make sure your car is clean. So just in case you happen to bump into her, in the line of Starbucks, that you won't look like a slug, and you can attract that perfect wife. So you're always selling something, whether you're selling yourself, selling a concept, you're selling an idea. When you throw all that makeup and pretty hair on and you go out in the public, you're selling yourself. When you go to work and you put on your uniform and your suit and your tie or whatever it is that you wear to work, you're selling yourself. You're selling yourself to your boss because you want to stay employed. You're selling yourself to your customers because you want them to interact with you and not be like, oh, he's sort of funky, I don't want to deal with him, right? So you're always selling something. So I just wanted to put that out there very, very clear. If somebody says we're in the sharing business, we don't selling. If somebody's buying something and is generating revenue and you're getting a commission for that, you're selling something. You can call it sharing all day that you want to, but you're selling something. So let's find out. Let's make a list of that perfect client. We can call it sharing, selling, whatever you want to. It's not going to hurt my feelings. So how do you find them? What do they look like? Where do they live? So and we're going to talk about building a client avatar. And if you'd like this exact list of how to build it, I've got what I call a client avatar blueprint. It lays it out exactly. Very, very cool. If you'd like that, shoot me a private message. I'll get it to you. But it's very, very simple. One is you need to understand, and then I'm going to paraphrase this and I'll go through the bullet points, but you need to understand exactly who that, let me go back. You need to understand exactly what the problem is that your product provides a solution for. So once you know that, then hunting for that perfect client is really easy. And I talk about Weight Watchers and how Weight Watchers has a certain type of client. They're not looking just for people who are overweight. They're actually looking for people that have physically and consciously made a decision that they want to change their eating habits and that they're ready to align themselves and spend some money on a system that's going to get them in the habit of eating right so they can lose weight. And of course, there's probably some exercise and stuff in that, but that's who they're looking for. So once you understand who that perfect client is, once you understand and you have an idea of what their where they live, what the problem is that you have to solve, then it's going to be perfect. So we're going to get into this here. I'm talking about these steps. My name is Forrest. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a social media marketing strategist. I love helping people succeed online and grow their businesses. I'm on a mission to have no more empty refrigerators, and I'm glad that you got a chance to join me here on this live. So if you are struggling with who to talk to, where do I find people? The question is not necessarily, and I know you probably know this, is not where you find people, because they're out there. There's people all around you every day. It's where do I find the person that's going to buy my stuff? That's probably a better question. So let's talk about this client avatar, right? So where to start when you define your avatar? And again, if you want the client avatar worksheet, just shoot me a private message. I'll get the link over to you. You can go in and play with it. Very, very cool deal that you can have for yourself. So where do you start? First, you need to list out, and I'm reading this here. I got this right here on the list here. You got to list out the demographic and psychographic traits, or is it physiographic, psychographic? Anyway, you got to define their traits. You got to brain dump as much information as you can to think of your research that you've done so far. So what does that mean? What are the demographic traits? What exactly does that mean? That means, one is they need to have enough money to be able to buy your product. So you're not trying to save the people that can't afford your product, although there's going to be people out there that might be able to step up and figure out your bootstrap. But when you're knocking on doors, you need to go find where they live. And I talk about solutions. I've done some lives on this, so I'm going to throw in a tip. Let's say, for example, you want to attract some high-end clients. What type of stuff with a high-end client? What would somebody typically buy if they had some discretionary disposable income? I don't know, a very expensive purse, right? Maybe a very expensive bicycle, maybe a really nice car, something that's a really nice car, like, Mercedes or Lamborghini, or a really nice purse. I don't know what they're called. If you know a really nice purse brand, drop it in the comments, share it with me, because I know that I always come up with Coach purses, or I think there's Michael Kors. I don't think Michael Kors are super expensive, but there's some brands out there that are ridiculously expensive. And Michael Kors, if I hurt your feelings, I'm sorry. But an expensive purse. Maybe you're focusing on women who need to lose weight and get in shape, right? Or maybe you're focusing on women that want to buy a high-end makeup or cosmetic. So where would those women live? What pages, right? I'm not talking about groups, but what page would they hang out on? Where would they look for stuff? So what brands would they frequent? What are their most frequent brands? And you go to that page, and guess what? You're going to see comments and posts and likes of everybody that you're looking for right there. So now that we've figured out, you've got the demographics, so they're going to spend a little bit of money on that high-end product, right? So that they probably have some discretionary income to spend $150, $200 a month or whatever it is on your product that you need to sell them. So that's one way to find your client. We can actually dig into that on another live. So number two, give this person a name and grab a photo online. And when you're designing your target avatar, and the reason you want to do this is you want to create a visual, and you can put it on, maybe put it on a Google Doc spreadsheet, but you want to give them a name. So maybe your name is Miss Coach or Miss Michael Kors or whatever. If it's a guy, maybe, Fred Michael Kors, whatever. So you want to give them a name. And the reason you're doing this is because you want to I think the word's graphic. You want to put it in your subconscious mind so that no matter where you go, they pop up. You see them everywhere. Like, ooh. It's like a dog in the hunt. Once they get the scent, you're doing this, once they get the scent, like, bam, I'm on it. And you can literally see them out of the corner of your eye, like, hey, that's the kind of person, because you know what kind of watch they wear, what kind of clothes they wear, what kind of shirts they wear. I can always tell when a man has a lot of money because he has a certain type of shirt on, is wearing a certain type of watch, and a certain kind of shoes. Stands out like a sore thumb. Now, people that don't understand that wouldn't know. And I'm like, okay, that dude's got some cash. I'm going to go say hi. I'm going to exchange some business cards. I'm going to see what he's all about. Maybe get some nuggets. And who knows, most of the time, you can always tell if they're wearing a $600 shirt, they're probably making somewhere in the $100,000 or more a month income-wise. And you can spot them. And I just know, just because I have quite a few millionaire friends, which is cool. And I've just learned to look for that person, because I know if I'm going to talk to them about business, the cost of my product will never come up as an issue, right? And because I have confidence and know that, and being able to speak into that, I'm never worried about, oh, my product's gonna cost too much. I learned this in advertising, that you never spend the other person's money. And once I learned that, and once I figured that out, my income just like skyrocketed from selling advertising. It was very, very cool. So number one, list your demographics. Figure out where they live, what kind of money they have. Are they married, single? Do they live in a certain type of neighborhood? Do they drive a certain type of car? Do they live on a certain type of page? Do they have a certain type of magazine? Give the person a name and grab. So name your avatar. You can grab an actual human avatar if you want. You can go to websites and grab faces and things like that, or you can build one yourself using a number of online avatar builders. It's totally up to you. You can have a lot of fun. You can be it can be a male or female or maybe both. It doesn't matter. And you can have more than one avatar depending on your clients. You might have 2 or 3 different similar demographics of people that might buy your product. Design a dossier. Now this is very cool here. You can download a sample of dossier pages. You can create your own. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it has to be at least a 1-page printout that you can reference for brainstorming. So what is a dossier? What do they look like what we were just talking about in dossier form? Where do they live? What do they wear? How do they dress? And then, of course, here's the cool part about this, right? This is really getting into the world of your avatar. And the reason you're doing this is because you want to create a subconscious ability to see them everywhere. It's like, oh, there's my client. Oh, there's my client. And in the grocery store, Starbucks, online, you know where they hang out. When you click on their Facebook profile, you go, yep, that's them. That's the person I want to reach out to. And reach out to them and say, hey, I was curious if you might be able to take a look around and expand my business area. I work with a lot of, whether they're nurses, doctors, lawyers, attorneys, whatever they happen to be, right? Maybe they're stay-at-home moms because they're married to a doctor, an attorney. And maybe that stay-at-home mom who's married to the doctor that spends all kinds of crazy hours on his job would like to actually spend time with him and have him home and hang out with the kids, right? So think about that as your mission to go out and make an impact and change people's lives. So write a story as your ideal client customer avatar. Imagine that you are them, journaling about them, discovering and using your product. What did they do before you had? What did you do before? So whatever. What did they look like? So imagine maybe you've got this slightly overweight person and you're in the health and fitness and you know they have a certain demographic and you know that they want to get in real good shape because maybe they want to go on summer vacation whenever we get to do that, right? They want to go to the beach and they want to hang out. They want to just look really buff and trim and slim and fit, right? So you understand that. So you build them in your heads like, okay, how would this person react? And how would they put the stuff in the blender? And how would they mix it up? And what kind of cup would they use? And, where would they sit? And what kind of clothes would they wear? And, what kind of exercise outfit would they have on when they go to the gym after they take your shake or before they take your shake or whatever it is. So once you go through and build this client avatar, the cool thing about it is basically it's there was a movie, I can't remember, it was these two kids and they actually created I can't remember the actress that played it, but it was Mad Science. I think it was Mad Science. And they created this like perfect woman in their mad lab, and they put them in, they put all this stuff in this machine. They created this perfect woman. I think it was called Mad Science or something like that, or Crazy Science or Freaky Science or something. It was a movie that came out many years ago, but it was pretty crazy. And it was pretty, because there's good guys and bad guys. It was a funny movie. It was very interesting. So if you'd like the client avatar worksheet so that it can give you some brainstorming, it's very important when people ask, where do I find people? And understand that they're not necessarily asking, where do I find people? Because, well, there's people all over the planet. Is where do I find the person that's going to buy stuff from me? And the way that you find that person is you need to understand who you're looking for, and you need to understand what problem that your product has a solution for. So once you know those things, you're going to be able to go out and product and prospect and market to those types of people. So this is Forrest out in St. Louis. Again, if you want the client avatar worksheet, shoot me a private message. I'll definitely get that over to you. I love you. Jesus loves you. There's absolutely nothing to do about it. Go out and make an extreme impact. Peace out. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.